We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Union Cabinet condemns the Delhi blast as a heinous terror act. The centre directs a swift probe into the incident. On final day of Botswana visit, President Murmu to witness symbolic handover as Botswana gifts India 8 cheetahs. US House approves a spending bill 222 to 209 to end a shutdown. 6 Democrats support measure as President Trump set to sign. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says international cooperation vital for rare minerals. India ready to work constructively with global partners. And Sri Lankan cricketers expressed their intention to depart early from their tour of Pakistan due to security concerns after a bomb blast in Islamabad. And on to the details now. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has expressed its profound grief over the loss of lives in the terrorist incident involving a car explosion near the Red Fort in Delhi on Monday. Well, the Cabinet also observed 2 minutes of silence in honour of innocent lives lost. The Cabinet also recorded its appreciation for the statements of solidarity and support from many governments around the world.
The country has witnessed a heinous terror incident perpetrated by anti-national forces through a car explosion near the Red Fort on the evening of 10th November 2025. The explosion resulted in multiple fatalities and caused injuries to several others. The Cabinet pays its respects to the victims of this senseless act of violence and conveys its heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. The Cabinet prays for the speedy recovery of all those injured and appreciates the prompt efforts of the medical personnel and emergency responders who have been providing care and support to the victims. The Cabinet unequivocally condemns this dastardly and cowardly act that has led to the loss of innocent lives. The Cabinet reiterates India's unwavering commitment to a policy of zero tolerance towards terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. The Cabinet also recorded its appreciation for the statements of solidarity and support from many governments around the world. The Cabinet notes with appreciation the timely and coordinated response of the authorities, security agencies, and citizens who acted with courage and compassion in the face of adversity. Their dedication and sense of duty are deeply commendable. The Cabinet directs that the investigation into the incident be pursued with the utmost urgency and professionalism so that the perpetrators, their collaborators, and their sponsors are identified and brought to justice without delay. The situation continues to be closely monitored at the highest levels of the government. The Cabinet reaffirms the government's steadfast resolve to safeguard the lives and well-being of all Indians, consistent with its enduring commitment to national security and the safety of every citizen.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited LNJP Hospital in Delhi to meet the victims of the recent car blast incident. During his interaction, he expressed solidarity with the injured and their families and assured that those responsible for the conspiracy would be brought to justice. More in this report.
On Wednesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, upon returning from Bhutan, made an immediate visit to the Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Hospital in Delhi to meet victims of the recent car blast incident. PM interacted with the victims and their families at the hospital. PM Modi also inquired about their treatment and conveyed his heartfelt prayers for their swift and complete recovery. Expressing deep concern over the incident, Prime Minister reaffirmed the government's commitment to ensuring justice. Meanwhile, in a significant development on Wednesday evening, Faridabad police seized a red Ford EcoSport, suspected to be linked to the prime accused, Dr. Umar Un-Nabi, in the Delhi blast case. The vehicle, discovered parked near Khandavali village, is now under intense security as investigations deepen. Earlier in the day, Delhi police issued a citywide alert across all stations, posts, and border checkposts to locate a red Ford EcoSport. The alert was issued after investigations revealed that other suspects already connected to the Hyundai i20 used in the explosion were also in possession of another red-colored car. The investigation gained momentum after the National Investigation Agency assumed control of the case. NIA teams meticulously inspected the blast site and re-examined vehicles parked near Red Fort at the time of the explosion. Officials questioned vehicle owners to determine the duration of their parking and whether these vehicles played any role in the incident. Security forces in neighboring regions have also escalated their efforts. In Lucknow, the Anti-terrorism squad, in collaboration with the Jammu and Kashmir police, seized the car of Dr. Parvez Ansari, who was arrested for his alleged involvement in the blast. This followed a raid on Ansari's residence on Tuesday. In Maharashtra, the ATS conducted a major operation in Mumra Kausa, targeting the home of teacher Ibrahim Abidi. The raid yielded several electronic devices and digital evidence, which are now undergoing detailed technical analysis. During his visit to Bhutan, PM Modi assured in his speech that those responsible will not be spared and will be brought to justice. The explosion, which occurred on Monday near Red Fort, claimed at least 8 lives and left several others injured, sending shockwaves through the capital and across the country. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, India has consistently demonstrated a resolute stance against terrorism, proactively implementing measures to thwart potential threats. Now, recent actions by the nation's security forces have successfully prevented several terror activities, showcasing India's unwavering commitment to safeguarding its citizens and maintaining national security. Well, in the most recent incident on November 10th, a joint team of the Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana police recovered over 2,900 kilograms of explosives from Faridabad. Now, the Gujarat Anti-terrorism squad arrested 2 youths linked to Pakistan-based terrorists on November 9th. On November 7th, the Rajasthan Anti-terrorism squad arrested an individual who was in contact with the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. On 27th of October, Delhi police arrested 2 terrorists and dismantled the ISIS-inspired module named Sautul Umha. Also, a Jaish-e-Mohammed module that was active in 3 states was neutralized on October 13th. Meanwhile, the special cell of the Delhi police busted a pan-India terrorist module and arrested 5 suspected terrorists from various states on the 11th of September. On 27th of August, the NIA arrested a wanted criminal in the Vizianagaram ISIS module case. In a counter-terror operation in Poonch on 11th of July, the Army and the Jammu and Kashmir police conducted a raid on terrorist hideouts, and intelligence teams in Hyderabad arrested 2 suspects on May 19th in connection to a Saudi or ISIS-related module. And today is the 3rd and last day of President Droupadi Murmu's historic visit to Botswana. Significantly symbolic handover of 8 cheetahs formally announced by President Boko on Wednesday will be done in the presence of President Murmu today. Well, in a significant goodwill gesture, President Boko had announced that Botswana will donate 8 cheetahs to India under the Cheetah Reintroduction Project, reinforcing both nations' commitment to biodiversity conservation and ecological balance. Also, President Murmu expressed profound gratitude, noting that the cheetahs would join the growing population at Kuno National Park. Besides, the President will meet Minister of International Relations of Botswana, Fenio Butale, and Vice President of Botswana, Nabada Nkosinathi Gaulate. Later, she will attend the Indian community reception before departing from the Gaborone airport. Now, President Murmu arrived for a 3-day state visit to the country on Tuesday. This is the first visit by an Indian president to the country located in southern Africa. And External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today participated in G7 FMM outreach session on energy security and critical minerals and put forth India's perspective. He spoke about the need on both issues to mitigate dependence, strengthen predictability and build resilience, asserting that greater international cooperation is the only way forward. Well, Jaishankar noted the unpredictability and market constrictions in global supply, saying more policy consultations and coordination are helpful. He added that the key, however, is to translate that on the ground. The minister stressed that India is open to working constructively with international partners in this regard. Well, External Affairs Minister also attended the G7 FMM outreach session on maritime security and prosperity. He underlined India's approach to maritime security through Mahasagar Outlook, Indo-Pacific cooperation and port-led development at home. In his remarks shared on X, he highlighted the imperative of trusted and diversified maritime links and India's efforts in upgrading its shipping infrastructure and developing resilient corridors. Well, Dr. Jaishankar further highlighted the need for better coordination in protecting critical maritime and undersea infrastructure, maritime threats and economic crimes, including piracy, smuggling and IUU fishing merit deeper international cooperation. He mentioned India's emergence as a first responder in the maritime domain and the endeavour to deepen HADR partnerships in Indo-Pacific through joint exercises and logistics agreement, and the importance of maritime trade to national and international prosperity in a globalizing world. Well, he noted the central role of resilient ports and secure waterways in securing our collective agenda and highlighted that the UNCLOS must be upheld. Besides, Minister Dr. Jaishankar also met his counterparts on the sidelines of G7 FMM meetings. He met Vice President of the European Commission, Kaja Kallas, in Niagara. The talks revolved around deepening the India-EU strategic partnership and sharing perspectives on the G7 FMM agenda. The minister also held a useful conversation with the Ukrainian counterpart, Andriy Sybiha, in the midst of the G7 FMM outreach session. He shared Ukraine's perspective on recent developments. Dr. Jaishankar also met a Saudi counterpart, Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud. The interaction covered bilateral ties, regional hotspots, connectivity and energy. And seeking to reduce import dependency and vulnerabilities in the supply chain of critical minerals, the government on Wednesday approved the rationalization of royalty rates of graphite, cesium, rubidium and zirconium. While under the revised structure, the royalty for graphite will now be calculated on an ad valorem basis instead of per ton basis, meaning it will be charged as a percentage of the average sales price instead of a fixed amount per ton.
कुछ क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स देश में ऐसे हैं अवेलेबल जिनके रॉयल्टी के स्ट्रक्चर को चेंज करने की ज़रूरत थी. बहुत ज़्यादा हाई रॉयल्टी इम्पोज करके रखी हुई थी, उनको रिड्यूस किया गया. पहला है ग्रेफाइट, दूसरा है जिरकोनियम, तीसरा है रुबिडियम और चौथा है सीजियम. कि इनके ऊपर जो रॉयल्टी है वो रिड्यूस की जाएगी जिससे कि इनका प्रोडक्शन बढ़े. और ये सारे के सारे ऐसे एलिमेंट्स हैं जिसका देश में बहुत उपयोग है, खासकर इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल इंडस्ट्री, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री और स्ट्रैटेजिक सेक्टर्स में. सब में इनका बहुत उपयोग है.
Well, let's take a look at other stories making news today now. The National Capital Region Transport Corporation has launched India's first solar on-track project at the Namo Bharat depot in Duhai. Installing solar panels directly on the tracks, the 70-meter pilot system will generate 17,500 kilowatt hours of energy annually, reducing 16 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. Well, NCRTC's goal is to meet 70% of its energy needs from renewable sources. The Ministry of Tourism, Government of India is set to host the 13th edition of the International Tourism Mart for the North-Eastern region from 13th to 16th of November 2025 in Gangtok and Sikkim. This annual flagship event aims to showcase the tourism potential of the North-Eastern region, highlighting its rich natural beauty, cultural diversity and adventure tourism opportunities. A joint operation by the Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police and the Border Security Force recovered 6 hand grenades from a forested area of Jammu and Kashmir's Kupwara district on Wednesday. The search was based on intelligence about a possible militant hideout in Jabri forest. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Trump urges Herzog to pardon Netanyahu amid ongoing corruption trial, calling charges politically motivated. A bus plunges into 200-meter ravine in Peru's Arequipa region, many dead. And Indian Grandmasters Arjun Arikaisi and Ramesh Babu Pragananda move into the 4th round tie break at the FIDE World Cup in Goa. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and moving on, the US House of Representatives passed the spending bill that will end the government shutdown with a 222 to 209 vote. Now, next, the bill will go to the desk of President Donald Trump, who said he plans to sign it tonight. With Trump's stamp of approval, the longest government shutdown in US history will officially be over. The Senate-passed package will restart disrupted food assistance, pay hundreds of thousands of federal workers and revive a hobbled air traffic control system. It will extend funding through January 30th, leaving the federal government on a path to keep adding about $1.8 trillion a year to its $38 trillion in debt. The Republican-controlled chamber passed the package with President Donald Trump's support, largely keeping his party together in the face of opposition from House Democrats, who are angry that a long standoff launched by their Senate colleagues failed to secure a deal to extend federal health insurance subsidies. And House Democrats on Wednesday released emails that they said raised new questions about President Donald Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein and how much he knew about his abuse of underage girls, while the swearing in of a new Democrat kicked off a new fight in Congress over further disclosures. Now, the Democrats released messages between Epstein and author Michael Wolff and Ghislaine Maxwell, a British socialite who's serving a 20-year prison sentence on charges related to role in facilitating Epstein's sex trafficking. In one 2019 email to Wolff, the sex offender wrote that Trump knew about the girls, though it was not clear what that phrase meant. And Israeli President Isaac Herzog has received a letter from U.S. President Donald Trump urging him to consider granting a pardon to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday. Well, Netanyahu has been facing a long-running corruption trial, and Trump has repeatedly asked for a pardon for his close ally. Netanyahu denies the charges and has pleaded not guilty. Trump expressed support for Netanyahu, calling the legal case against him politically motivated and unjustified, while also emphasizing his respect for Israel's justice system. Meanwhile, Herzog's office said that anyone seeking a presidential partner must submit a formal request in accordance with the established procedures. Well, Netanyahu thanked Trump for his support and expressed eagerness to continue working with him on security and peace initiatives. And British Prime Minister Keir Starmer distanced himself on Wednesday from a briefing by unnamed allies and that he would fight any leadership bid, throwing his support behind his Health Minister, Wes Streeting, who had been named as a challenger. Well, earlier, Health Minister Wes Streeting said that he was not going to demand Starmer's resignation, adding, "I support the Prime Minister. I have done since he was elected leader of the Labour Party," unquote. The Health Minister's denial followed anonymous briefings by Starmer allies who told journalists he would fight any bid to replace him. Starmer told a Parliament that attacks on any of his cabinet members were completely unacceptable and said Streeting was doing a great job. And in Peru's Arequipa region, at least 37 people were killed and dozens were injured after a bus plunged into a 200-meter deep ravine on Wednesday. The accident occurred when the bus collided with a van and veered off the highway connecting the coastal town of Chala to Arequipa. Among the injured were an 8-month-old baby and 2 other children, with 26 people receiving medical treatment, 3 in serious condition. Authorities recovered 36 bodies from the ravine and confirmed another death at the local health center. The Peruvian presidency expressed condolences and said it had mobilized medical support for the injured. Peru has seen a series of deadly bus accidents in recent years, often attributed to poor road conditions and vehicle maintenance in mountainous regions. And Iraq's incumbent Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani claimed victory for his coalition on Wednesday in general elections after preliminary results showed it had secured a decisive lead. Supporters of Sudani, who is vying for a second term, took to the streets to celebrate with fireworks and music. Sudani described the election victory as a win for all Iraqis and congratulated the nation on his coalition's first-place result. As per the Electoral Commission, preliminary results showed a Sudani's candidate list leading with more than 1.3 million votes, while vote counts for each list by the province were released. Seat allocations in parliament will not be announced until later. The Commission reported that over 12 million of 21 million eligible voters participated, despite cleric Muqtada Sadr urging a by-poll. And on to some sports news now. Sri Lankan cricketers expressed their intention to depart early from their tour of Pakistan due to security concerns. The players fear for their safety following Tuesday's suicide bombing in the Pakistani capital, Islamabad, which killed 12 people outside a court. But Sri Lanka Cricket issued a statement saying it had instructed the team to go ahead with their ongoing tour of Pakistan as scheduled, despite an unspecified number of players requesting to return home. The Pakistan Cricket Board confirmed that the second ODI scheduled for Thursday will be held on Friday, while the third match will now be played on Sunday. Sri Lanka are playing in a 3-match ODI series against Pakistan before taking part in a T20 tri-series tournament against the host and Zimbabwe. And Indian Grandmasters Arjun Erigaisi, Ramesh Babu Pragananda and Pintala Harikrishna have moved into the 4th round tie-break at the FIDE World Cup in Goa. Well, Erigaisi accepted a draw against the experienced Grandmaster Peter Leko of Hungary. Pragananda split the point against Grandmaster Daniel Dubov, and Harikrishna also drew against Nils Grandelius of Sweden. Among the 5 Indians in fray in the 4th round, all eyes were on Erigaisi and Pragananda. Meanwhile, Pranav Venkatesh and Karthik Venkataraman were knocked out of the tournament. They were beaten by stronger rivals Nordirbek Yakubev of Uzbekistan and Li Quang Lim of Vietnam, respectively. And in Australia, more than 330,000 people line the streets of Adelaide for the much-loved annual Christmas pageant. Celebrating its 93rd anniversary, families came from far and wide to celebrate and share the Christmas spirit. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from Al Hussain in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.